Hey everybody, it's Kelly Cooper and welcome to another Facebook Live video. I did this topic yesterday, but the lighting wasn't great and the video wasn't great quality, so I deleted it. So some of you might have seen it already, but it'll be a new video, so I'll be saying different things. The question was, how can I remain detached when my mind wants something specific? And the person asking the question, they were asking it in the context of wanting a relationship, but being honest, they basically want their ex back, which is, I've never had anyone ask me about that before. Sarcasm alert. Anyway, here's the thing. Your mind only knows what's already in front of your face. It only knows what's already happened, which is why the exes in particular, we get so attached to that, because it already has the experience of being with this person. So your mind's going to do that, and you can't help it. Your mind's going to attach to the relationship you already had, the experience you already had, the thing that gave you good feelings, and it wants it back because your mind just cares about pain minimization. And it's like, oh, if I get this thing back that made me happy at some point in the past, okay, I want that back. Something comes into your orbit right now that checks some of the boxes of what you want. A person, an opportunity, a job, whatever. Again, the idea of getting it, it makes your mind feel better because it doesn't like the pain of not having what you don't have, even though that's not the cause of your pain. It's something else. Oh, good. It looks good. Haha. Very funny, Ryan. I'm broadcasting from Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's Thai village life here, and there's noise everywhere. And if I wait for it to be quiet, I might not ever get to do the video. There'll either be a dog barking, construction, a baby crying, chickens crowing, whatever, roosters, whatever. Anyway, right? So we have either what's already happened or something that came into your orbit now. And again, the idea of it, getting it, manifesting it, working out for you, it makes your mind feel better. It minimizes your pain, so it'll attach to these things. Your mind's always going to be operating from that space. You really can't do anything about it. But what you can do is not get emotionally invested in all your mind's bullshit, because your mind is always going to be doing what it does. That voice in your head, it's always going to be talking. It's going to be saying something, probably something that's upsetting to you in some way, judging, assessing, whatever. You don't get emotionally invested in what it's doing. You don't listen to your mind when your mind tells you that the only possibility you have at happiness is if this thing in front of your face works out now, if your ex takes you back. That's the only way, because that's the kind of stuff your mind tells you, and that's why we get attached. You have to understand where the attachment is coming from. We get attached to these specifics, the past experience that we want back, or the thing that's already come into our orbit that, again, has the veneer, checks some of the boxes, and we think getting it will give us what we want and take our icky feelings away. Again, that's all your mind cares about, is pain minimization. It's a fear. It's a deep fear of not getting what you want. And if we didn't have this fear, this attachment really wouldn't exist, because we'd be like, oh yeah, maybe it will be this thing. Maybe I will get back with my ex. Maybe things will work out again, or maybe I'll meet someone better. Cool, no big deal. It's all good. That attachment would basically be non-existent without that fear. So if you want to work on detaching more from experiences and people that have already materialized and your mind's attaching to them as the manifestation, you have to be purging some of that fear. You can't be operating from that space of, I'm afraid I'm not going to get what I want, and let me try to manipulate reality. Let me use the law of attraction to get my stuff, so then I don't have to deal with these feelings. I don't have to deal with this fear of these things maybe never happening for me, because again, that fear, everything we do is driven by our mind's MO. Everything is, it's fear. A fear of this, fear of that, survival fear, more surface level fear. It's all fear. That's all your mind is operating from. And hence, that's where the attachment comes from. So you don't get emotionally invested in your mind's assessment of what's happening, and your mind basically telling you, well, if it has to be this thing. And it gloms onto what's already showed up, right? Because again, it's afraid, what if something else doesn't show up? What if this is it? What if this is our only shot? No one else will ever, I can't imagine anyone else loving me but my ex-boyfriend. I need him back, or my ex-girlfriend. I can't imagine any other job being better than this one I'm interviewing for next week. It has to be this job. But your mind doesn't understand infinite possibility. Yeah, could it be these things? Could it be the ex? Could it be this job? Could it be this or that? Yeah, maybe, but it might not be. And if those things don't work out, it doesn't mean anything went wrong just because your mind didn't get what it wanted, or just because your mind thinks something's the best representation. It doesn't mean it's right. Your mind is often very wrong about that. Way, way off the mark, right? because it has no idea what you truly want and what you truly need or what would truly make you happy. So again, when you start remembering how fucked up your mind is and the space from which it's operating, you don't listen to it as much. Trying to get it to stop doing what it does, good luck, that's probably not going to happen. So you need to not get emotionally invested in these attachments to these specific things. Are you going to totally detach? Probably not, because there's always going to be that little part of you that's like, oh, I want it to be this, because if I get this thing, my pain goes away, and I hope it's this, and I hope it comes, I want my pain to go away as quickly as possible. This thing is in front of my face right now. If I could just get this, everything will be okay. That's the space your mind is operating from. Whether or not this thing is a great representation for you, your mind doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Your ex-boyfriend, it might be the worst possible thing to get back together with him. Your mind doesn't care about that, because to your mind it thinks, well, we won't be lonely anymore. Everything will work out. I don't care. Let's just get him back. Let's just get her back, right? So you've got to emotionally divest from your mind's chatter, your mind's attachments, and you have to deal with the fear that's driving these attachments. Because again, without that fear, attachment does not exist, because you're like open, you trust, you know there's infinite possibility, and if it's not this thing right now, it'll be something else. And you know it's fine, right? But that's not the attitude we have, because we do have that fear. So you have to look at the fear driving what you want, why you want to manifest what you want. What beliefs are being triggered by your situation right now? What bad things are you thinking about yourself that you want these manifestations to fix? Why are you so afraid of not getting what you want? If you don't get what you want, what does that mean? What does that feel? What feelings does that bring up? If things don't work out for you, what sort of beliefs is that triggering in you that feel badly, that you don't want to be true? You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I always talk about feeling your feelings and dealing with your shit, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They just want to hear, well, how do I get my stuff? But manifesting energy, that's not the world of action. It's not the world of manipulation through action. It's what you're being. And if your energy doesn't change and you let all of this energy keep dominating, this attachment will always exist. All this fear, all this anxiety, it won't go away. And even if you get what you want, it's still not going to go away. Your mind will just fixate on some other new thing. It will obsess about some other new thing. Some new fear will get triggered. The outside will never fix the inside. You also want to work on the energy too, and purge these fears and purge these attachments, because the things we want in our life can show up for countless reasons. You don't need some perfect love vibe to get a relationship. People have abusive relationships. We've all seen that. We've all seen the people that bring out the worst in each other and all that shit, right? So you also want to purge this energy because you want to get the things you want for the reasons you want to get them. You want to get the boyfriend from that space of loving yourself. Your energy's all clean. You're not looking for the relationship to fix all your wounds and heal all the shit that happened with your daddy or all this stuff, right, that we're doing with it. You want to get it because you want that love. You want that connection. So yeah, that's another reason too to do this work. You technically don't need to do any of this, and you can get all the stuff that humans want. You can get a job, you can get money, you can get clients, you can get a relationship, you can get married, you can have kids without doing any of this. You don't need to do it. Your energy, in some way, you can get all of these things. It happens all the time. But again, you might not get the things for the reason you want them. So that's why you do want to do this work, because you want to get the things, again, because you want to get them for the reasons you want to get them, not to show you some other shit that you still have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how it is. Your mind's going to attach. That's just how your mind works. You can't really stop it. But what you can do is not get emotionally invested in all this, it's bullshit. And you have to deal with the fear that's driving the attachment. You have to see, why do I want this thing so bad? Why am I so afraid it's not going to happen? What's going on there? You don't want that energy driving your journey of conscious creation. You can still get stuff, but again, you might not get it for the reasons you want it. You might not get the best versions of what you're capable of receiving. Stuff takes a lot longer. It's a lot harder. It's just, ugh, you don't need to do it. Clean up your energy. It's worth it, because that's what's happening inside's the real problem anyway. It's not what you don't have on the outside. So yeah, your mind will attach to specifics. That's just what it does. You can't help it. But you can help how emotionally invested you get in what it's doing. You can help how much you believe it when it tells you, no, it has to be this, it has to be that, this is the perfect representation. It doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about. It knows nothing about this. It doesn't understand infinite possibility. Yeah. So it's just about consciously making that choice over and over again to not keep doing things the way your mind wants to do them, to not keep thinking and feeling the way your mind thinks you need to be thinking and feeling. That's really all it comes down to. But again, that conscious choice, it's not a one and done thing where you're just like, oh, this is my new belief now, this is how I am now. Would be nice. In theory, it's possible, but it's probably not going to happen. So you just need to make these choices over and over again to reject your mind's thinking and to reject your mind's way of looking at things. And that builds a momentum. And if you do that consistently enough, you start to exist more in the energy of more energetically LOA friendly type energy, right? Where things work out and you don't get attached, you remain open and all that good, wonderful stuff that feels really good. So yeah, that's it. Your mind will do that. You can't really help it, but you can help whether you believe it, whether you get emotionally invested in its chatter. That is under your control completely, and that's the best you could hope for, really. And then all your mind stuff, it does what it does, but it's in the distance. It's not in the forefront, like screaming at like, in your face. You know, it's just more like in the background. It's background noise, and you don't get invested in it. And that's really what you need to hope for. So don't feel pressure to try to get your mind to stop doing these things because it probably won't. You just need to change your relationship to how you relate to your mind and whether or not you believe all its nonsense. That's basically what it comes down to. Remember, there's infinite possibility. Just because your mind can't see a possibility doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because your mind thinks something is the best representation of what you want does not mean it is. It usually isn't, because the energy we're attracting this stuff when we're still more in that space, it's usually not going to be the best representation because our energy's still a little fucked up and we need to work on it a little bit and clean it up, and then the really good stuff can come in. All that's where the miracles and all that shit happens, right? So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great day or night. For more content, information about my coaching services and products I have on offer, head over to livelifemadeorder.com. And yeah, that's it, guys. Bye.